All right, guys, what's going on? John Wetmore here. Hope all is good. Welcome to our Thursday night call, Southeast call. Appreciate you guys getting on. We are going to get rolling tonight. I got Tyler Adams on with me. Been with us just a few weeks. Hit me up on Marco Polo, I think is how we got connected, if I'm not mistaken. I think you just kind of hit me up blind, if I'm not mistaken. And
that was it. I just saw this guy, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna shoot you a message.
Like, hey, dude, I got a question. I'm like, all right. And we started talking, and here we are. And I found out all kinds of cool stuff. He's crazy as can be, and has a big beard, and is cool as cat, and comes from corporate world, and is figuring this thing out. Like, it's not that complicated, and just going to work. And I thought we'd have you on, dude, just to kind of share, man, because I know, like me, I came from corporate America. But not like you, I didn't make a lot of money in corporate America. I was making like 40, 50 grand a year, but it's different. You know, maybe you were in sales a little bit, but you understand the fear of transition into this world for people.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and I would love to have you maybe just talk about that a little bit. So a quick little intro would be awesome. And kind of what you've done, how long you've been here, and say hey to the whole Southeast family. Appreciate you getting on.
Well, hey, guys. Yeah, and I want to tell you, brother, I appreciate, you didn't know me from Adam, right? Just out of a Marco Polo message, we've kind of developed this mentorship where you give me good feedback, great advice, and you tell me things that I need to hear when I need to hear it. So first off, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate FFL and the opportunity and a life-changing opportunity they've given me and my family. But yeah, I was corporate America. I was a, district manager, senior leadership my last, 10, 12 years. And I came across, FFL from Marco Conde. Me and him used to work together a little bit in that realm. He was a director. I was a district manager, and we were kind of in agencies that were like competition, but we always knew each other. We had a great relationship. And I saw Marco, make the jump to FFL, and I saw the money he was making for like 8 months. I'm like, there's no way this is legal. This guy is posting like he's making $70,000, $80,000 a month. This can't be real. This has got to be a scam. There's just no way. So I watched him do it for like a year, year and a half. And then all of a sudden I was just getting super unfulfilled where I was at. I've been wanting to go into business for myself for the last couple of years. And finally I got that one boss that just like pushed me over the edge and made me so unhappy. I took the courage to start looking at other things, and I connected with Marco, and he's like, yeah, man, it's real. Like, this is how much money you can make. I watched for about 2 or 3 months, and I got licensed. And I just made the plunge. Like, it's funny. Everyone told me, like, don't quit your job. Don't quit your job. Do this part-time. Don't quit your job. Marco told me, he's like, hey, man, just do it part-time, and then we'll get you transitioned within a month, 2 months full-time. The second that Americo came back and showed I was contracted, that was the only person I was contracted with, by the way. I got AIG and Americo. The second Americo came back, I called my boss and quit. And I called Marco. I'm like, hey, bro, so I quit my job. I need you to teach me how to do this whole insurance thing so I can start making some money.
I love
it. It's kind of how I got started, man.
So selling, and I don't mean this name, but selling cell phones regionally, right? Overseeing a bunch of people. I'm like, hey, I got to go. Tell them, because I know, dude, tell them how it went down at home, bro. I love it. How'd it go? Seriously, with the wife, family, because you got explain the family situation, right? Your wife work or not?
No, my wife doesn't work. She takes care of it, holds it down at home, does a great job, takes care of my kids.
How old are the kids?
6 and 9, yeah. So, and so, mind you guys, like with COVID, my comp structure at my other job had changed drastically because it did for everyone, right? Just the landscape of corporate America was changed everywhere. So I didn't make much money my last, 4 or 5 months where I was at. Like, I was normally average about 180 to 200 a year at corporate America, and I left that for this. And my wife was like, hey, same thing. Hey, just, take your time, ease into it. My parents told me I was absolutely insane for leaving because they knew all my friends told me it was a terrible idea. And I felt so bad. I told my wife that I got fired from my job. I'm like, hey, they found out I was doing insurance. They let me go, which, about a week, 2 weeks later, I came clean. She's like, Tyler, I already know. She's like, I knew that you quit. She's like, but she tried. She was supportive. But I was so like nervous. I'm like, listen, they clipped me. Like, they found out I was doing insurance, but I just quit. I mean, I couldn't wait to get started. And the second I saw that Americo come through, I was just so confident because it's a system. There's so much training through the playbook, just so many tools out there. You can just go to FFL and type in YouTube and become a master, right? I had no idea how to do mortgage protection. I watched your video on how to close seniors on mortgage protection. Dude, I watched your video about 50 times in a week. I memorized your verbiage from beginning to end. I never watched someone do mortgage protection in home. From your video, I watched it, and my first week I wrote $24,000 in mortgage protection. So everything you need is right there. Like, you just gotta be self-sufficient and look for it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, how'd you get started then, man? Sounds like were you doing the training and stuff in advance, or did you just hit the ground and go out there with not actually? It just hit me. You went out in the field. Am I mistaken you? How'd you get started? Let's talk about it. I want to like leads, field. How'd you picking up the phone? The whole beginning part. How did you know what to buy, where to go, all that jazz?
So once again, Marco's a great guy, and he's a big mentor to me, and he's the one that brought me on, and he's taught me a lot of things about this business. And I did a ride along with him one time, no, twice. I did about 6 or 7 visits with him in home, and that was it. And I came back, went through the playbook, and Marco always told me, and same thing that you've told me, just diversify your leads. Don't rely on one vendor. And I went all in, man. Like I said, I made good money, but I was moving, things like that. And I would say we had our savings, right? But in our actual checking account, I think we had $1,800 in our checking account, okay? I spent $1,500 on my first lead order, and rent was due in 2 weeks. Now, that's when my wife told me I was crazy. Like, at that point, she was a little upset. She's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm like, listen, it's going to come back. I spent $1,500, and that was when I was just doing final expense when I first started. I think I made like $6,000 in my first week.
Okay.
Like, it was crazy. But yeah, so that's how I got started. And I remember Googling, at this point, it's been 3.5, 4 months ago, but I was Googling, like, what is life insurance? Like, what is a term policy? And now I'm here. So everything's there to teach you. You just gotta find it yourself, man. And FFL has such a big network. I mean, the fact of, I just reached out to you and you responded, and I was at that point, I had written like 5 policies. So, no one knew who I was, and I was just getting to know who you were. But the network here, and everyone's so supportive to try to help everyone out in this industry. It's just awesome.
Love it. How did you, so what happened next? You made $1,500. How you made your $6,000, you said the first week. Did you, right? You got rent due, you got other bills, you got life going on, you're not working. How did you, so what'd you do? How did roll? Cause you've made whatever, 50 grand plus in the last 6 weeks. How did you get that 1,500? How did you manage that to roll it the right way?
I'll be honest with you. For my first month, like, every penny that I made, I put back into the business.
Right.
Like, if I had extra, initially, like, so I paid my bills, and whatever extra I had, I bought leads with.
How much?
It didn't matter. Like, there was
roughly.
How much was what?
Yeah, how much you been putting towards your expense? Roughly, ballpark.
2,000, 2,500 a week.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now, like 2,000, 2,500 a week in leads.
And your deposits, just to clarify for everyone, are ballparking what a week?
I mean, a week?
Yep.
15,000, probably.
Yeah.
Like, I again, man, it's just to a point. I wake up every morning, like I told you. I wake up at 5. I have like this mental clock, and America shows you what you're getting paid the next day, like 5:30.
Yeah.
Every morning I wake up and I roll over and I look and I see what my deposit is for the next day. And at that point, the wheels are going and I can't turn it off. So I'm up every day at 5:30, strategizing, getting ready to pound the phones at 7:30 to get my day started. Even on run days, I get up at 7:30. I dial from 7:30 to 8:30 whenever I got to leave for my first appointment, and trying to set my next 48 hours up daily. So I always got those appointments.
Dialing every day. Let's talk about dialing. So you buy the leads, $1,500. I've heard a lot of people go, I'm going to kill it. And they buy 12 leads. And like me, hey, I'm guilty. I don't know if you know this, Tyler, actually. Did you know I quit the first time I dialed? Do you know that story yet? Have you heard that?
No, you haven't told me that.
Yeah, I literally, so it took me, I joke, it took me 2 years to book my first appointment. Nah.
Okay.
I swear to God.
So there's hope. So I have hope is what you're saying. There's hope.
I got licensed in 2010, and I got on the phone and I couldn't do it. I just wussed out, dude. And it took me till 2012. My license actually expired. I had to like pay a little fine to keep it active. And that's when I got started again, 2012. So 2 years before I even booked one. So to a guy like me, right?
Yeah.
Originally sitting back, watching people, like how'd you smack it right away? Like, what was your approach? Have you had dialing history? You have like experience with this or not? Or
I have never in my life done cold calling, or this isn't cold calling. This is warm, but I've never called for business, right? I've done sales, but it was retail. People came in, you tried to hard close them on the spot, and
yep.
then they left. I never had a job where I had to reach out and look for business. Okay.
What was this like
But it was one,
for you?
I mean, it was, I went into a mentality of don't think, just do, right? It says in all the training, triple dial 3 times and go to the next person. If they hang up, dial them, call them right back. Hey, I'm sorry we got disconnected, and continue your script. I had a script. Once again, me and Marco came together. He sent me an awesome script. And that was it. Like, you just triple dial and you'd call a bunch of people. I did not stop until I had my next 2 days booked. So the first day, I think I got lucky, right? I booked like 7 or 8 my first day. Thought, oh, this is going to be this easy all the time. I booked it in like 2 hours. Then the next day was like a dose of reality. I only booked like 3 the first morning. So then I called again from 1 to 4, and then I called again. I remember booking my last appointment at 8:40 that night for the following day, but I had a full set. So for me, that was kind of it, just learning that you got to, speed. It's all about speed. It's all about getting back to the script. You're going to get people that's going to tell you that they don't want to talk to you, that they didn't fill this out. Okay, great. Well, this is why I'm calling. You just continue the script. You'll be surprised how many of them will listen. And then they're just going to, and I say, hey, so let me ask you, I got a 9 a.m. and a 4 p.m. Which one works best for you? And just wait. They'll either hang up or they'll tell you a time. It's pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
So that's really all I did. Just follow the script and listen. I put the numbers in my favor. I bought a ton of leads, and I triple dial every single customer. It doesn't matter. Dial 3 times.
How many so you still get a lot of people that don't pick up, I assume?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. 100%.
What do you do there? Just keep moving, or do you stress on it? Do you throw them away? Do you door knock them? Do you text them?
I,
Do you get mad?
I don't get mad. I mean, here's the thing. I'm still my boss. Like, you don't understand the boss I had before this. No matter how tough this is, you're still your own boss and you're in control of your destiny. That's the most beautiful thing about this business, right? If you want to succeed, you're going to succeed. It just is what it is. It's just are you going to put in the work? So for me, if I order leads and then the first 5 are duds, I don't stress. I just keep calling, right? I keep calling all the other ones that I have. I have done some door knocks in between. Me personally, like, I try to stay so busy and so booked, I really don't have a lot of time for door knocks. I mean, if you look in my final expense and my mortgage protection leads, I got hundreds that are still white cells that's never been called, or not called, but never been reached. I've closed 4 or 5 deals off of door knocks. I'm in the area. I got a no-show. I'll pull up the app, see how many I have, and I just hit everything somewhat close.
Yeah.
But for me, I keep telling myself I'm going to take a few designated days and just go door knock, but I just don't have the time. I'm trying to up my leads. I was trying to book, 30 appointments a week. Now I'm trying to book 45 to 50 appointments a week. So when I'm doing that, man, it's just dinger to dinger. I mean, yesterday was the first night I've been home before 8:30 in like 14 days.
So explain what it's like out there, dude. Someone that's never done it, maybe they're doing it and they don't know what it's like to be out there as aggressively. Maybe they had never even done this period and they want to know, like, all right, what's the catch? You know what I mean? It's like, it ain't no catch, but it ain't 4 hours a day.
No, it's not. And that's the hardest thing to explain to people, because there's so many people that I work with in corporate America. And like, they've called me like 5 times, and every time they ask me the same questions, it's almost like they're wanting me to give them a different answer. They're like, so you really make this much money? I'm like, yes. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, how long does it take? I'm like, oh, about an hour in a home, and you can make anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000. And they're like, but what's the catch? I'm like, there's not one. Like, you just have to grind, right? Like, the thing I've learned about this business, you cannot cheat the grind. It always keeps score, right? If you're cheating a grind, you're not going to make as much money. If you grind it out and you put in the effort and you put in the time, even if you're not good at sales, guys, you're going to make money here. It's a numbers game. If you truly book those 30 appointments a week and you go see them, you're going to get 5 to 10 no-shows. You're going to get some people that you show up to their house and they say, hey, I never even wanted you to come here. And the day before, you've talked to them and they told you to come. But once again, it's your mindset, right? You're doing them a service. The way I look at it is I'm not wasting their time. They're wasting my time. My time is valuable, okay? I can go out and help families. There are families that want it. And then there's some people I show up at their house and right out the gate, they're rude. They won't look at me. They won't give me the time. And I'll look at them. I'll say, listen, Mr. Jones, with all due respect, are you serious about this today? Because I want to protect you and your family. But you have to want to do this too. And I just want to know before we go any further, is this something that you really care about? And they're going to look at you and they're going to say, well, yeah. And then they're going to change your tone. Nah, man, I'm not really interested, and I'm still going to try to spend a few more minutes, but I'm not going to spend an hour trying to close someone and waste my time that I know is not going anywhere. So I've gotten to where I am cutting bait faster with the people I know that are not invested in this. Yeah. Because the thing that you have to realize, guys, when you knock on that door, you have to knock with a sense of purpose. When you talk on the phone, you have to talk with a sense of purpose. And if you're unsure and you're like, oh, I'm nervous, I know, they're going to feel that and they're going to hear that. Yeah. For me, it's confidence is everything. So that's kind of my script and what that I stick to is very confident what I'm offering the families, because at the end of the day, when that time comes, they are going to need this.
Yeah. What are you doing scheduling wise? Like how, and I want you to try your best to give them like a visual, because I know what it's like out there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So kind of talk about the schedule, but I remember when I didn't know, right? Yeah. And it's like 8 a.m. here, 9:30 over here, like, right? There's still traffic where you live. How do you get, like, you know what I mean? Day in the life, like, you know what I'm saying? How you scheduling them? Because the fear of a lot of people is how do I schedule that many? I can't get to them all. And you kind of answered it where you're cutting bait sooner because you're only dealing with serious people. But how do you logistically maneuver a day in the field? What's that look like?
Yeah, and you actually gave me this advice because I remember I sent you Marco Polo. I'm like, man, this sucks today. Like I had 6 appointments and 4 of them no-showed and only 2 people talked to me. And you're like, Tyler, like, listen, if 6 appointments isn't cutting it, then you need to book 8. If 8 appointments isn't getting you the results you need to book 15 appointments in a day. And I remember that you're like, look, book 15 appointments. The next day I booked 12. Mm-hmm. If you're running behind, you're making money. You're helping families because it's going to average out. So for me, I'm an early bird. I'm up looking at my schedule, trying to map out my day about, I get up about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I'm in my car. Even if my appointment is at 11 a.m. or 10 a.m., I'm in my car by 8:30. I try to dial every day from 7:30 to 8:30, then get in my car and go to wherever that I'm going. And me personally, I'm trying to book appointments every 90 minutes. Okay. Doesn't matter if it's within an hour drive, I don't care, because if you're booking truly, 8 to 10 appointments, which is where I'm trying to be at, all right, you're going to have 3 or 4 no-shows, even 5, right, on average. You're going to have people that forgot, that doesn't show up, or people that you walk in and it's not going anywhere, and you cut bait, right? So it kind of averages out. Now, you are going to have some days where everything you touch turns to gold. In those days, you made $8,000 and you missed 2 families. Well, you call them and you reschedule for the next week or the next day or whatever like that. But at the end of the day, you got to help 6 families before them, so you did good that day and you provided for yours. Yeah. So for me, it's just that consistent. And, again, I grind pretty hard. My days have been 10, 12-hour days. But I'm completely okay with that, because if I have a no-show, I'll turn The Office on my phone and I'll just watch an episode of The Office on the way to my next home. Get you in a good mood. Keeps you balanced, right? Mm-hmm. So you're your own business owner here. It's just your discretion of what you want to do and how you want to handle your days. But for me, I got this from you, right? Activity, 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 activity. That's what it's all about. If while you're driving, you can't really be looking, but if you have an hour of downtime, door knock, pull up your iPad, start making calls, setting appointments for the next day. Like, if you're not driving, you need to be busy doing something.
I love it. Cool. Well, let's get to the part we really do, man. I have, I just recently hired some warm market, right? We have some people playing, that play baseball with Maddox's team. There's a couple of them getting licensed, and they don't do this at all. Nothing to do with this, nothing to do with sales, nothing at all. And they go like, okay, I just don't know if I know how to talk about life insurance. I don't know if I know the product, how to sell the product, right? There's this fear of, all right, what do I do when I get there? I got the phones. I'm a champ on the phones and I know how to sell. But dude, I don't know nothing about life insurance. I don't know the product, right? There's this fear. So how do
Yeah,
you
of course.
talk about that? What did you do? What did you think? How do you deal with it? And what's the reality for you?
Yeah, so I was in the exact same place, and it's so fresh for me because I've only been doing this for two, 3 months now.
Hey, you're a
Um,
professional already.
Not a professional, not a professional. I am a work in progress. I just get lucky
Hey,
every now and then.
me too,
Uh,
brother. That part doesn't always change. That may stay for a while with you.
yeah, I'm just a work in progress, and I get lucky every now and then. That's what I chop it up to. But yeah, so I remember I listened to the live dials. If you guys are not plugged in, you need to be listening to the live dials every Monday and every Thursday. Like
Yep.
that's money, that's gold. So I listened to the live dials the entire 3 hours, both days, while I was in training. Like while I was taking the pre-licensing, all that. I mean, I knew that I would be fine on the phones.
Yep.
And again, I didn't change anything. I just said the exact same thing that they said. And I called 3 times and I set appointments. So, but after that, when I quit my job, I had a mini freak out moment. I'm like, okay, I quit my job. I know how to dial, but I have no idea. And everyone says it's like 85% phones and 15% in home, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that just doesn't make any sense. Like, how do I know what to write on the paper? How do I know what to do this? And so then I drove down them after I quit my job and I had no idea what I was doing. I decided the next day to drive to Miami and ride with Marco. I watched Marco's in home and I'm like, wow, the iPad does pretty much everything for you. You just ask medical questions and you know what carriers to go with and it does everything for you. And then you just talk about the benefits and how it's going to benefit them. So for all you guys out there that think, oh my God, I got to know every price, the iPad does all the thinking, okay? No one ever said this in a training. And if I would have heard that, I would have been a lot happier, okay? The e-apps do all the thinking for you. You just type in information off of a driver's license, you ask them questions, and you put it in there, and then it spits out results, okay? Whether that they're level, whether they're graded or non-insurable. So level means best price. Level's good. Graded, not so great, and uninsurable, you revert to AIG, which is a guaranteed issue, okay? So for those new guys, that's your tiers that you're looking for. But yeah, for me, I went and saw Marco. I'm like, wow, he literally just asked him questions. He gets the emotion going, and that's the most important thing is getting emotion. So, hey, John, if you don't mind me asking, what made you fill this out? And most of the time, well, my wife died, my nephew died, my grandfather died, and you tap into that emotion, okay? And that's what that you use in to get them to understand the reality of what's going to happen because you are going to everyone on this call is going to die one day. It's going to happen. Like it may be tomorrow, it may be in 20 years from now, but you are eventually going to pass away. And when you do, you need to build that emotion for either their living spouse or their living heirs or children and ask them like, who's going to have to deal your thing, who's going to have to deal with all this stuff whenever that you die, right? That's kind of, who's going to have to deal with that?
Yeah.
And make them talk to you about it. And you'll see it in their eye. Like you'll see that switch and that emotion when they start thinking about it. And that's when you go in and you're like, all right, well, great. Now that we're talking about that and you understand that's why that I'm here, right? When you pass away, there's a lot of moving parts that's going on that, this is what I deal with every week. And I'm here to help you with that and make sure there is no burden left on your family when you do depart.
That's it.
Simple.
All right. So
and then you ask for their driver's license.
There we go.
You ask for their driver's license, run their information, and it comes back level, graded, uninsurable. They come back level, and then you just give them options. It's very simple. You find out if they want to do cremation. You find out if they want to do, burial. Of course, cremation is lesser expensive, but no matter what, guys, always give the highest option, okay? So if they're approved and they want a cremation, $3,800, right? Give them an option for $30,000, 15,000, 5,000, whatever, okay? But always give that highest option and start with that first. And you talk about with Americo, hey, listen, if you die of natural causes, it's going to pay $30,000. But last year, on average, last couple of years, 32% of total deaths came from accident. So there is a shot of that. So if you do pass away in some sort of accident, you fall and hit your head, you get in a car accident, your wife gets mad at you and hits you in the back of the head with a frying pan. Any of those are covered, and your wife's going to get double the amount of money. And normally they start laughing. And then you talk about the common carrier goes to 90,000 if they die in a plane, train, public transport. So you just talk about the benefits, guys. And Americo is the way to go. So I got an email this morning with Americo. I've been doing this now. I don't even know. It's like 7 weeks. and I've already hit the 8% bonus with America for issue paid. Which what that means is when I first started, I kept seeing people put 8 at the bottom of every sale that I was making. And I have no idea what the heck they were talking about. So I called Marco. I'm like, yo, what does this 8 mean? He's like, yeah. He's like, if you hit, I think it's 45 grand. He's like, if you hit 45 grand issue paid, they give you 8% at the end of that, 6 months or 4 months, whatever it is, of what you earned. And I've been doing this for 6 or 7 weeks, 8 weeks. I don't even know, but I hit that yesterday. So everything I'm making now is just 8% back.
So three grand and some change bonus on top of the 50 or so you've made plus 8%.
Well, yeah, my goal is by the end of the year to do like 120K. That's kind of my personal goal. Like I want to get a $15,000-$20,000 kicker from America before December.
I love it.
Yeah.
No one's mad at that. You didn't really have a close, right? So talk to them about the assumptiveness of this thing, man, and how you run into it. I know that's what you do. You've obviously been in sales, so I don't know how. I assume if you walk into a T-Mobile store, y'all must be insanely assumptive, right? But how do you channel that here? Because you didn't really ask.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, all right, here we go. And that's
so
hard to teach.
It's not hard, right? I use emotion, assumptive closing, and silence to kind of help me close deals. Okay. So we talked about, I give John his 3 options: the 30,000, the 15,000, the 5,000. I talk about the benefits, living benefits, everything that they're going to get with that option. I say, listen, now this is where that we have to make sure we're going to secure that legacy for your family and make sure that burden is not left on them. I turn the piece of paper around, I slide it to them. I said, now all I need to know from you is which option works, and I hand them the pen and I have them circle which option. I don't say any, even if they sit there. There's been times they've sat there for like, it seemed like 6 or 7 minutes, and I refuse to say anything. I just sit there, and I make them talk to me first. And they either are going to circle an option, or they're going to come at me with an objection. Okay, I try to take all the objections away before I turn that around. I ask them all the questions when I'm filling out the medical information, when I'm filling out, the financial inventory. I ask them every question that I could think of, and I try to paint the benefit of how everything benefits them. That way they can't really ask me anything because I've covered it. So I try to turn that paper, I slide it to them, I say, all right, so which one works best for you? Option A, B, or C. And I write an A, B, and C on the 3 tiers. And I just circle which one, and I'll go ahead and get started. And I just take the laptop and I act like I'm, over here doing this. And I'm just,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the best move.
Even though I'm just doing this, like literally, this is all I'm doing. And I wait. Like, don't give in, because they're waiting for you to say, well, what about this? No, just shut up and make them talk to you. Like, he who speaks first loses. Make them talk to you, because by them losing and them giving in to you, they're protecting their family. So ultimately, they're winning.
I'm holding in tears laughing, bro, because I remember sitting at the tables going like, I ain't losing. There ain't no way I'm losing this. How long you going to go? We going to make eye contact too? You know what I mean? Like, dude, it was hard sometimes, bro. But yeah, someone taught me that one day too. I was like, that was hard to learn, or hard to deal with once I learned it. It was intimidating. It was intimidating.
Yeah.
So, I love it, dude.
And for me, this is all second nature. And again, if you ever think you're bothering someone by doing this, you are in the wrong profession, because you're not bothering somebody. You're getting them uncomfortable so that when they pass away and their family is in a state of turmoil and emotional distress, not knowing what to do, they don't have to worry about money.
Yeah.
My brother just didn't wake up, dude, at the age of 32 years old. And I remember those few days just like it was yesterday. 6 years ago, he passed away on September the 23rd last month. And I can't imagine money having to play a picture and having to pay for a GoFundMe and having to do all of these things. And for a family that doesn't have that, man, I couldn't imagine what that feels like to go through. Yeah. So if I can keep one family from not going through that, to me, that's worth everything, So that's kind of my story, and that's my why, Every time I go in a home, I say a little prayer, God, please help me give the right words to say, the strength to say it, and to be silent when to be silent, and to help this family protect them, and to financially provide for mine. I say it before I go in every single home.
I love it, dude. I love it. It's hard to beat that.
Yeah.
Well, let's give them a little. I'm gonna let you let it rip here at the end, dude, because I know I've been new, I've been really bad, and then I figured a few things out, and I know what that's
Yeah.
like. My guess
Yeah.
is you're getting 9,375 calls looking for a magic blue pill.
There's not one.
Clearly, do just whatever you want to end with from your perspective to give advice from someone new, just anything. Do just give them the truth serum, whatever you want to give them, and give them some real perspective, man. Because again, people are going to want to know. Like, I remember looking at it and going, like, I hear you, but I know,
But
I said that. That's what I say, but dude, I know. And Mark was like, bro. So just give some advice, man. Whatever. Wrap it up with this.
honestly, man, like the one thing I want you guys to understand, right? You hear all the money that I've made. It's not just that easy, okay? I'm not going to sit here and try to paint this infomercial of, come to Family First Life, sit at home, and your wildest dreams are going to come true. That's not going to happen, okay? You're going to have to work hard. There's been days where I've been so frustrated, I've had to pull over and I almost jerked the steering wheel off the column because I had 7 no-shows. But stay consistent, all right? If you have 7 no-shows, book 10 appointments the next day. I kid you not. I went through. I remember calling Marco once. I'm like, man, it's been 3 days. I'm not doing what I need to be doing. He's like, Tyler, you're doing the right things. Just keep pushing. That weekend, I made $18,000. Following that, in 3 days, 18 grand. Right. So it's a numbers game, and go all in. If you just dip your toe in, you're going to get dipping your toe in type of results. Okay. Go all in. All the guys that I'm bringing on, I'm telling them spend. If you got $2,000 in your bank account, spend 13 to 1400 on leads, because you will double to triple that in return. It just happens. Like, I've not seen anyone that's bought leads, worked all the leads, and not gotten a return. So if you buy 10 leads, you're going to get 10 leads worth of results. If you buy 100 leads, you're going to make your investment back, then the profit to pay for your family and your rent, all these other things, and the money to buy more leads. So for me, it's go hard, right? Trust the process. Do not deviate. Like, add your little spin on it, but do what they tell you to do in the trainings. And honestly, for me, don't associate yourself with people that aren't winning. If someone's writing $5,000 a month and you're taking advice from them, you're an idiot. Like, it's true. I know this may sound whatever, but my first month to month and a half, I did not call, speak, or get advice from. And I went to the office a few times. I got no advice from anyone unless they were writing 50 to 60K. And in my mind, 50 to 60K was normal because that's all that I watched. All the techniques that I took was from people that was producing that. And I did that my first 4 weeks, not even knowing really. I mean, I was still learning what I was doing as I was going. So that's my advice for anyone. Trust the process. Do not think for yourself, right? Like, trust the process. When you're in home, that's when you start thinking for yourself on building the benefits. But as far as making the calls, buying the leads, you have to do what you're told to do. If you do those, you will win. Like, in this job, you can have 0 sales experience. I have one person I'm bringing on right now, 0 sales experience. They know nothing about the business, and they will make 100K their first year. All you have to do is dial the leads and then show up. That's it. Even if they call you and say, hey, don't come, show up. Show up, put in the effort, put in the hours, and you're going to make life-changing money. That's just all there is to it. There is no secret sauce.
Love it, brother. Secret sauce. What'd you call it earlier? The grind, right? What'd you say about the grind? You had a good.
Dude, the grind keeps score, man. Like, it does. You
That's
can't
what it
cheat
was.
it. Like, if you cheat the grind, it's going to know, and your paycheck's going to reflect it. If you don't cheat the grind and you put in the effort, the grind is going to reward you. Like, you can't cheat it, man. It knows. And your paycheck's going to reflect that.
The grind keeps score. That's going to be the
It does.
headline. I love it. And I'm stealing it. I'll give you
Hey,
credit for a little while.
I've already trademarked it. It's fine. I actually did that like a week ago.
I love it.
I posted it in our chat on, I think it's on Marco Polo and Frank's chat. It's been awesome working with Frank, with Nick, with Marco, like, just everyone from top to bottom in my upline is so supportive.
Yeah.
And I can call Nick, Frank, or Marco at any time, day or night. And if they don't answer, they text me, hey, and they call me back in like 3 minutes. I don't know any other industry where that, people of that stature that's been doing this and is that high up answers the phone for everyone, but they do. So, and like I said, for example, you're one of the top producers. I didn't even know when me and you started talking, like, I didn't know you were like one of the top producers. I was like, oh, this guy seems cool. I watched his videos, like, and then like after we started talking, like, I'm like, oh wow, this guy's team writes a lot. Like that's insane. So I didn't even know till we were talking for probably a week. So, but I mean, this is kind of a living example of the culture. Like, once again, I had no idea what I was doing at the time. I never even sold a policy. I reached out to you and you gave me all the best practices that I asked for, and you always responded.
Yeah. Hey man, we've all, what, everyone you named, all of us, me included, all those guys you named, dude, we've all had so much help. It's like, why not share it with everybody else? Because this ain't that deep, so.
It's not. Like, it's crazy. Like, there is no secret sauce. Like, there's a lot of businesses where you got to do tricky stuff. There is no tricks here. You just write a lot of business, right? You got to buy a lot of leads, call a bunch of people, and set a bunch of appointments. That's it.
Deal with the BS.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have it. So pretty simple.
I love it, dude. I love it. Well, Tyler, I appreciate you sharing, my friend. I know you're out there in the field. Keep killing it. I appreciate you scheduling some time in to chat with us, and we'll get this out there for everybody soon. And if we can help at all, let us know, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate you having me on.